Tippy top of the morning to you, laddies. Wattles couldn't make it today. I am taking over for him. My name is Peter Griffin. He had to pay big money, though, to get my appearance in this video, so make sure you subscribe and smash like. In fact, yeah, I charged him such a big bill, Wattles will never break even on this video. Anyway, new day, brand new snapshot, and oh man, it's a banger one with a brand new, our first new feature introduced to this update is Spiky Baby. But beds. Beds are where I would like to kick off today's video because they are a little bit weird. You see, I've been taking a look at beds inside of this snapshot for as long as I could, picking them up, holding them in my hand, taking a look at that hand, zooming in, then flipping the angle, dropping it on the ground, getting the lens right and everything, and they appear to be exactly the same. Except this week we have a big change. You see, inside of this week's snapshot, block entity data, the Minecraft bed block entity has been removed. What in the world this actually means, I do not know, but if you do, please help me out. See, I am only Peter Griffin, and I just don't know, man. When messing around with the bed, I did notice that items definitely bounce differently on it, but I think that's related to the bounciness changes in Snapshot 1, not whatever was just done in Snapshot 3. Alrighty, next up, the Sulfur blocks and the Cinnabar blocks. Man, you can see it right here, clear as day. The Cinnabar block variants, they have been saturated again. I guess Mojang heard the community and decided that we were correct. The Cinnabar and the Sulfur block variants are now warmer. So here's the thing, I believe the plain old normal Cinnabar block right there, that's pretty much the same as it was in the last snapshot. The difference here is with the bricks and the chiseled, or Polish, excuse me. I mean, yes, the chiseled as well, but we'll get to that in a second here. Take a look at it. It's pretty intense how red these things are now. A couple of other red things I could foresee you wanting to maybe test this out, compare it to Mangrove. Mangrove is still deeper, but a lot more closer in tone. And then red concrete, actually. Red concrete fits in pretty well here with this lineup of blocks. So maybe you could like have red concrete and break it up, the flatness of it, with like a Polish Cinnabar. Now, you know, we have a chiseled one as well. The chisel block has indeed been increased in saturation as well here. This is pretty nice looking. Now, over on the yellow end of the spectrum, this one, at least to my eye, is pretty much instantaneously noticeable when you take a look at the potent sulfur block. Oh, mama, remember this stuff stood out like crazy? Well, yeah, it still stands out a little bit. Like, potent sulfur is more yellow, but wow, compared to the normal sulfur, this stuff is way been yellowified. Now, compared to the red concrete with the Cinnabar, the Sulfur, even this new iteration of it, is still nowhere near as yellow concrete. Endstone brick, maybe you're curious about that. Now the difference here is way more noticeable. This is much more golden. Harry's a legend, the admin of the Minecraft wiki. Here you can see a side-by-side of the chiseled versions of both blocks and how the new versions, but especially the Cinnabar, is much more intense. Oh man, now something that doesn't usually happen, inside of the snapshot we have the removal of a brand new crafting recipe. When we go ahead and craft this down into potent sulfur, that's good. But if I put potent sulfur in here, you can no longer break it back down into 4 blocks of sulfur, like you were able to in the last snapshot. And if you are curious, if I drop a sulfur block into the crafting table, just one, it doesn't really break down into anything. So what gives? Well, baby, this gives. Take a look at it. It's the brand new Sulfur Spike item that has been added to this update. It kind of confirms something else about Cinnabar. Oh, man. So first up, listen to our new block sounds. It's kind of the exact same thing. Literally, the exact same thing as pointed dripstone. Listen. Exactly the same. Now, Sulfur Spike, it does not combine with pointed dripstone. I'm trying to, like, place it on top of it. Doesn't work. Same with the other way around. That's not a thing. These are two very different blocks that just so happen to be pretty similar in concept. It's a spiky block. Check this out. I am 3 blocks above a 2-tall dripstone spike. I fall on it. Ooh, I take 2.5 hearts of damage. It's no bueno. Now I will run the same exact test, except now we're with Sulfur. 3 blocks above it, full health. And I didn't take any damage at all. If I were to maybe jump and get a little bit More momentum. I mean, I think that was just me falling and landing on the sulfur spike. Yeah, so this right here seems to be our first difference compared to dripstone. I don't know if that's bugged or what, but it feels a little bit odd. I would think this would cause damage increase. This brand new sulfur spike can spike in the ground, but it can also spike from the ceiling, just like pointed dripstone. If I had sulfur spike on the ceiling, sulfur spike in the ground, just like pointed dripstone, they get close enough, they will end up touching. If I remove this, we can see though, unlike dripstone, it's not naturally just like dripping or anything like that. If I put dripstone right here, I think in time, doesn't it just like water drip? No, you know what? Never mind. I'm a fool. No, I take it back. It does drip. I thought so. It just takes time. Meanwhile, sulfur one, it never drips. In a survival setting, I find this block, I place it on, I want to maybe pick it back up, change my mind, I break it with my hand, and I actually get it back. Pointed dripstone. Well, it's actually the same. If I am standing underneath this block and it falls on me, oh, that's going to lead to a lot of damage. That's not good. This mechanic here, it is similar to pointed dripstone, except you seem to take a little bit more damage with the new spike. Another pretty sick new mechanic here is farmable sulfur. So yeah, they went ahead and removed that potent sulfur recipe because we don't really need it anymore. If I put a little bit of water, just like I can with pointed dripstone, above the stalactite right here, and then wait a little bit of time, over time, this thing will end up growing. We could go ahead and simulate this by increasing the random tick speed, like way a bunch, and wait around. Any minute now. We could go ahead and throw a couple of tick sprints in here too, and I'm waiting still, and I'm waiting. That's weird. It doesn't seem to be working. Maybe we need to swap it. Whoopsie. Swap it for the potent sulfur. Well, it's meant to work. This is how you can farm sulfur now, but it's not working. Snapshots are snapshots, though. You know, they could be a little bit buggy sometime. Either it's just buggy and it takes a long time for it to work, or we'll have to wait until next week. Either way, though, with the addition of this brand new sulfur spike, the renewability question of the sulfur block has now been answered. All that's left is Cinnabar, and how could we get more of this? Oh yeah, and speaking of renewability, inside the crafting table, pointed dripstone, pointed sulfur, sulfur spike, you know how it goes. So new colors and brand new spikes, this amounts to a lot of changes to the new update. One of our greatest changes here, though, it has to do with the whole biome. Creating ourselves a brand new world inside of this snapshot. If you've already seen the sulfur cave biome and you know how it looks, no, you don't, because this week, oh, the generation of it has been changed. Giving ourselves a little bit of night vision so we can see better inside of this thing. The sulfur cave biome, all over the sulfur that will generate inside of this biome. We will now have spikes sticking out from the ceiling and poking out of the floor as well. This kind of makes it a lot more like a dripstone cave variant. That's interesting. Oh man, now this biome, the larger the cave gets, the even more cool it ends up looking as well. As we move around through this large sulfur cave biome with the Cinnabar, the spikes all over the place, dude, look at how sick it looks. This cave biome just got a whole lot more dangerous because we're gonna need to watch out for these spikes and make sure they don't end up falling on our head. Oh man, like looking in here though, that's really cool, and it makes me wonder what they're gonna do with Cinnabar in order to make this thing renewable too. But yeah, wow, moving around in here, this feels pretty cool. Moving up to a different part of the sulfur cave biome right here where it's a little bit more tight. These sulfur spikes forming in here, when they end up touching the ceiling and floor together, it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually be able to navigate through. It seems like these sulfur spikes might be a little bit larger than the pointed dripstone, making it harder to like jump in between them. You're going to have to end up like climbing them or pulling them out of the way instead. Yeah, that's pretty cool looking though, but this opening down into the larger cave here, dude, oh, it's sick. Yeah, this definitely is an upgrade to the sulfur cave biome. I think it looks pretty nice, but I just can't help but wonder about Cinnabar. Our answers are all revealed. With the addition of the sulfur spike and the changes to the biome, now we know. Back in 26.1 Snapshot number 1, we talked about it, how it was like really random, where the developers just like went ahead and made all of these changes to the dripstone cave biome and the features. Well, this was clearly exactly why. That's why they renamed the thing. Checking back into my other world right here, it seems that I'm still having trouble getting more spikes, so yeah. The final thing that I'd like to take a look at here is in the dead of night, the Sulfur Cube mod. Intriguingly, in this week's snapshot, illuminous blocks inside of the Sulfur Cube are now going to look a little bit different. This relates to a couple of bug fixes inside of this week's snapshot, like this one involving magma blocks right here. Any block that has an emissive texture, so in other words, when you place it down, it lights up, is now going to look lit up when put inside of a magma cube. The best looking one from all of my testing has gotta probably be glowstone. There's something about a sulfur cube with the glowstone texture inside of it, it looks really good. Curiously, it does not actually light up the area around it though, even though that functionality was pretty much straight up added inside of this year's April Fool's snapshot. Maybe that's something that's on the way a little bit further on down the line. Sulfur, spiky snapshot of all time, what do you think? Let me know down below, smash like, subscribe. Thank you all for watching. There will be a stream from Wattles tomorrow, farming this stuff. Ta-ta, papas.